But there we go. Hey y'all. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. I've been doing stuff. I was working on Black Radio too, and also I've just been hiding out in my room because the world is insane. Um, Y'all are doing okay. Uh, 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 okay, so here's the thing. I was not streaming for a minute, which is whatever. But then I realized that I did two streams already, and y'all can't see the VODs anymore because I'm not a part like an affiliate yet or whatever. So I have to start streaming on a regular basis so that when I do these, y'all can go back to them at any time and just look through them. So what I'm gonna do from now on, I'm definitely gonna try and stream every Sunday, but during the week, I'm just gonna do a silent stream, so my mic won't be on necessarily, but you can hear my audio, you can watch my screen, and I'm gonna just try and meet the qualifications for affiliate, just so that y'all can always access the VODs. Uh, yeah. Other than that, I just been chilling, music. I got back into like trying to lose weight and get fit because I sat around the house for 6 months being depressed. Can't do that. Can't do that no more. Gotta get up, try and make the best out of the situation. And that's about it. Okay, so I asked on Twitter what y'all want to go over, and I heard a bunch of suggestions. I'm gonna start with new ways to long for you. And if I have time, I can do something else that's maybe a little bit more recent. And then again, I'm gonna try and do this every week. So I'm gonna take a note of all the suggestions and you know, try and get through everything that y'all want to hear or see. I'm gonna play through this. I think all of the parts are still here. The only thing I couldn't find are literally just like two like tom sounds, conga sounds. I'm gonna play through it real quick, make sure everything's good, and then we can go over it. Okay. Man, I don't think I've listened to that in its entirety since I made it. Wow. That's why I remember exactly what was going on in my life when I made it. That's weird. Also, this song is like super, like it's like quintessential SoundCloud bedroom producer, which I feel kind of a ways about, but it's whatever. I enjoyed making it. Upon review, like 5 years later or 4 years later, not that bad. I've made worse. Okay, let's go through this. Let's see what all this is. I'm just gonna go through each sound, and I am discovering in real time with you what I actually made because I don't remember. Oh, what's this? So that's the lead. I still use Lounge Lizard a lot. I don't remember which patch this is, but I can hear the phaser or the no, it's a wah without it, and then with it. I don't know what the best song I've made is. I, as far as just being like a show offy producer and not caring about anything other than me having fun, I think Internet Theory is probably like just the most excessively flashy and like fun thing I've made. But then I think that Overthinker is like foundationally well put together in a way that's so different than most of my stuff. Um, I don't know about the chord, portamento or pitch. I'm not sure. Let's get to it. Um, I'm pretty sure this is like some kind of like yeah ensemble. So like Massive's attempt at trying to approximate like some woodwinds or something. Yeah, plug in my piano so I can play the patches. Oh, 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 oh. Uh-oh. Okay, what's the next batch? What's the next batch? It is silence. What? Listen to how dirty that is, and also I can hear the octave. My yeah, I don't know why I left that like that. Instead of just putting everything on the same octave like this, I left it. Also, again, this is a time where my sound design chops weren't anywhere near decent yet, so I was depending a lot on presets just to get sounds out. You know what's crazy? I don't even think I altered the patch, if I'm being honest. I think I just pulled it up and it sounded good, and I went with it. Silent again for the bass, I'm guessing. That is a surprisingly attack heavy bass. Another thing that I would not have done. Uh oh. Ooh. Oh, sorry. I'm now using a second screen to do all this so I can look at comments at the same time, and it's a little bit much to handle. Okay, my bad. Oh, oh, there we go. I think this is a snare roll thing. Yeah, all together again. And then the drop. Okay, okay. Let me find the drums. I think I'll just pass them. Uh, Yeah, so this is the time where I'm still programming all of my drums on a single drum rack, which is not organizationally sound, but whatever. As the kick. Okay, so I'm layering my snare here. So I have a rim and then some like percussive sound, which is just like a really weird woodblock thing going on. And I don't know if I panned it intentionally. Oh no, that's because maybe the panning is just like that. But it does help to distinguish between the two sounds. So you can hear the rim at center, and you can kind of hear that percussive element to your right. Lighter sound? Yeah, look at that. Clap. Shout out to Madbliss, the drum god. Oh, what is this? Oh, this must not have loaded. That's unfortunate. Oh yeah, that's one of the ones I couldn't find. Um, the like super SoundCloud classic medicine snare. I just did it again, pitch down, hi hat, and then the other two samples that I couldn't find, which are congas. But there you go. I was listening to a lot of Burial when I did this, and a lot of there's this one song by Pascal called "Drowning in You" that I super loved, and so I was super big on using Foley in order to do my percussion sounds. Still am to a degree, but yeah, I was on that back then. Speaking of Foley, um, I used to use paper, the sound of paper a lot in my tracks. There you go. What's this? It's just some weird organic texture thing. Man, Whereisalex tracks used to be garbage because I would spend a solid minute just playing chords and just like layering field recordings in weird organic sounds. I was a Foley just like in movies and television and cartoons and stuff, they have to record sounds so they can mix them in with dialogue. So like anytime you hear like footsteps, car doors closing, pages of books being turned, light switches being turned on. That's all Foley. Um, yeah. Oh, is it? Is it messed up right now? My bad. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know if you caught it, but just to reiterate, Foley is just sounds that you record, and it's usually just sounds on put erosion on the mic. I don't know how to do that right now. I'm gonna try and work on that though. Um, unless it's a filter and okay, okay, cool, 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 cool. Okay, what else? What else? More paper? More paper. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Excuse me? What? Okay, so I have the main melody going down here with silence. Oh. I don't even know where that came from, but it's obviously a really simple lead, just to you know. And then on the second half of that first drop, I have a like a not a counter melody, but I don't know. I guess the idea for that was just I spent my whole life in church, and the way that singers would harmonize, I wanted to try harmonizing with two instruments, which is like not the most um revolutionary idea. It's like super common in most music, but I hadn't really heard it in the SoundCloud scene in the way that I did it, and I thought it was kind of cool. Um, what else? More chords. More chords. So someone was asking beforehand whether or not I was using a pitch wheel or what. I think I went back by hand and yep, there it is. I like hand automated the pitch. This is before I knew how to use envelopes. But I mean, even for certain situations, you still might want to automate by hand just so you can have more control over it. And yeah, just another factory massive patch. I feel like this is a great example of just working with great sounds. Yeah, like don't whatever skills you have, if you just have a good ear for sounds, you'll be okay. Some people are really good at sound design. Other people rely heavily on packs and loops and whatever, and it doesn't matter as long as you just choose your sounds with intentionality. Uh, you'll be good. For example, I'm all okay. So y'all know the beat maker Stu from France. He's does stuff with How, What, and Where. I think he put out a remix pack for this song called Eden, and I remixed it. And just going through the stems, I was like, oh, this bass is kind of nice. And there was like one section where the bass just held out for a long time, And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just hold on to this for a little bit. So yeah, 2015, 2016 Alex got sounds from everywhere and did not care where they came from and if they fit, just use them. So yeah, just use whatever you can find. Stu is the goat. Uh, uh, this is a brass hit. This is the one that Medicine gave me a long time ago. It sounds bad compared to some of the ones that I use now, but I guess it worked for the song. There you go. There you go. Next part of the drop. It's pretty much the same, just with some added elements. Oh. So that bass from the intro I just used again, and I think here it makes more sense because the attack is so much more pronounced. It helps to accentuate that stabby staccato feeling. More of that counter melody stuff going on with the Lounge Lizard. What patch is that? Big space. There you go. Do you prefer using the drum rack more compared to dragging and dropping for your drums? It depends. For the entirety of Black Radio 2, I had to use drum rack because I'm not quantizing and I need to be able to try and tap out a groove over and over again. But if I'm making something that's more trappy, I'll try and drag stuff onto the whatever. Yeah, drum rack is cool though. I like it. Man, I think the best mixes are the simplest mixes sometimes. I feel good when my sound selection is on point and my arrangement is on point. And I don't have to do too much tweaking and I can just put on a little compression at the end and a limiter and then it's good. I try to, even now, I try to do as little as possible and just rely on my sample selection and my sound design and my arrangement in order to get a good mix out of it. Also, I had no idea what I was doing when I made this. So that's also why it's very simple. Because I was not good at this. I'm almost certain the master is just a saturator. Yep, and a limiter. Oh, there's a little bit of multiband. That's taking out some mids. Nothing complicated though. What's the sound? So this is okay. So these are some strings from Massive yet again. Okay, so explanation. I was super into Mr. Carmack around this period of time, and I found out that one of the things he did was to take a reverb and to put it all the way wet and then lower the decay time, and you got this kind of like weird sound. So from this, sorry, that is loud. I apologize. I forgot. I turned it up. This. Now, what I did not know when I was doing this is how much this messes up the stereo image of whatever sound you're using. So if we look at this, this is not going to be great. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, so that correlation is like hovering around 0. I am not okay with that now. Apparently, I was then, and maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference in the mix. But I would definitely go back now. Pull up an EQ8 and mid-side it. So you go to mode, mid-side, and just pick a frequency and just drag it over to the left. So that part of it is in mono, and then part of it is in stereo. Or what you also could do, take a utility, put it in mono, and then you can use a tool like Isotope, and then get Isotope stereo imager. Let me just do it now. Is this it? Oh, that's not it. I don't even know what that is. Isotope. Those are none. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. And then you can just make some bands, stereoize it or whatever. And then now you can control across your frequencies how stereo the image is, or how stereo the sound is. And so now you have the sound of it being all reverbed out, but instead of being a mess, as far as the correlation goes, it's more controlled. That's what I would do now, but I didn't. I was just doing whatever back then because that's how you get it done. The only added thing in this drop is this. Okay. What was I doing? What was I doing though? Okay. Yet another factory patch for Massive. I am hand automating. So I think it's the cutoff. It has to be the cutoff. Mod 5. I can't even figure out what I'm. Oh. There it is. Yep. So I'm modulating the LFO rate. I like those whatever this is kind of peeking through. Diversa was also a really big influence on me around this time, and he's just super good at kind of weaving together electronic sounds, but also these really nice like acoustic strings, and also just making synths that have this really interesting analog timbre to them. Yeah, shout out Diversa. I still listen to some of this stuff a lot. What's this? So more of the same. I just added a like another counter melody. And I have another one going at the same time. I think it's a harmony for like the main lead. Yeah. And then I added like another one. That is a what's that sample? Oh, Hudson Mohawk put out that album called Butter. That's like his first legitimate album, and he has a song called Fruit Touch, and I sampled one of the hits from that. Yeah, sorry, dude. I forgot to update the information for this turn. I don't know if I can do that midstream, but it's whatever. Next part. Oh. Okay, here's the thing. I have to go back and listen. I'm almost certain there's a synth missing, and I don't know if I added it before I exported it and then just didn't save it or what, but I'm certain there's something that's supposed to be here. But whatever. I'll go back and check. It's a lot like the first switch up. All I added was this vocal sample. And I just went crazy with the LFO modulation on Massive. I think I just switched the rate up like 8th notes or 16th notes. Something like that. And then yeah, also note the beat repeat on the master chain. That's giving it that, which is obvious, but I'm just pointing it out. was listening to like DiBiase and stuff, he would always do like beat dropouts or like beat glitches. So I just tried doing that. I was super about trying to strike this balance between electronic music and hip hop at a certain point. Like that's why the groove on this song is so loose. But I'm using like these really synthetic like instruments, and there's this like really like weird ebb and flow to the rhythm. I think this is the change up. Yeah. Okay. So that Lounge Lizard is doing a new melody. I got Massive just holding out some chords. We have the silence bass that's just bouncing up and down an octave. Okay, and the drum pattern switches up. Then it switches up even more on the second part. I'm trying to remember what song I heard that did that, and I was like, I should do that, but I can't remember what it was. Uh, I'll think of it later. The other thing that gets added is this this arpeggiating synth that gradually opens up and closes. What is funny is I actually don't see. Oh, there it is. There it is. So Silent has a native arpeggiator, and you can see the gate opening and closing as it goes. Also, just a note. One of the things that is happening a lot here that I would never ever do is using plug-in native delays and reverbs. I no, no. One of the easiest ways to get mud in your tracks is to not EQ your reverb. So pretty much anytime I'm doing it nowadays, I still use Ableton stock reverb, but I'll just change the input processing so that it's cutting out all the lows. And if you want to be super strict about it, you can actually just create a track that's just a send for reverb. You can use the default reverb, or you can just make your own, and you can route in whatever track you want to use. Then pull up a reverb, set it all the way to wet, and you can literally just EQ the reverb however you want to. Yeah. What's funny is I've been looking for this flute sound, and I found it because I had to look at this project. I think that's a sample from like Reason 5. I used to use Reason a lot for programming and for finding sounds. I think I still have it on my computer actually. Yeah, I don't use it much anymore, but I'll still open it occasionally to try and find some interesting samples, and I still use some orchestra refills that I have. I have only ever used Ableton's Reverb. I was considering getting Valhalla because I see so many people use it. But I mean, I think most of Ableton's stock plugins are super, super solid. It's less about trying to find a fancy plugin and more just knowing the theory behind mixing and like what to do with everything. That's pretty much the song. That's pretty much it. I think I went over everything. Um, yeah. When I made this, I think I was what 19 or 20, still in college, and just like dealing with depression and anxiety and people. Um, and maybe that's one of the reasons that I don't listen to this song too much is because there's a lot of negative emotions tied to it. But I feel like I was able to transform my experiences into something that was cathartic, which which is cool. There you go. Um, any questions? Is there anything that I've made recently that I can go over? I just did Black Radio 2. Any songs off of that? Or just any questions about production in general? You know what? I just started getting into convolution reverb. I didn't know that like FL users have it built in with Edison. So I've been opening up FL a lot and trying their convolution reverb. And I found a convolution VST that's cool. I just don't have the money to pay for it right now. So I'm a wait and save up some money. Yeah, I think you can do it in Edison, and they have like their own convolution reverb plugin, I think. What tracks do you reference sometimes, if any? I'll reference a lot of Carmack. I reference Medicine sometimes. For more boom bap stuff, I reference Iman Omari, Madlib. Yeah, I really just started getting into using reference tracks heavily this year. But there's no real template. It's just also Techloon is real good for reference tracks. Yeah, no, I was just listening to how loud everyone else's stuff was, and I tried to match it. Reference tracks are a game changer because you can really sit down surgically and just see how everyone's stuff is hitting. And I've said this in the past. I think that I prefer the mixing on Overthinker to anything else that I've done, just because for every single track I sat down and used a reference. Yeah. What are some good techniques when layering different sounds to make them sound more textured? That takes practice and it takes just messing around with stuff, but I try to focus on each sound having specific quality, and then I try to layer them so that they are kind of like sharing the qualities. That's not clear, but for example, for synth, if you're doing like a super saw stack, you try to have one that's super detuned and the one that's super clean. Like it's taking contrasting sounds and trying to put them together. You know, back to that snare that I had going. Oh, uh, the rim is super snappy, and then by contrast, the percussion is kind of dull. Can you repeat what you said real quick about sounds? Oh, I was just saying to make sure that your sounds are contrasting, you want everything to have a different quality so that when you put them together, they're like richer. So I was saying like for this snare, the rim is very snappy, and in contrast, the percussion element is kind of dull, and then it's panned so that they're taking up different spaces sonically. And that's like a good guide. If you want to have a sound that is layered, try to think in your mind what each part of the sound is, and then use each layer to achieve that aspect of the sound, and then put them together. Typically I mix loud, and I try to mix as close as I can to my master. So yeah, a lot of my gain staging happens um, as I'm going. I never touch the like this volume right here. I never touch it. I just pull up a utility and do it that way. If I am mixing off of a reference track though, then I'll go back and tweak gain staging. But I try to do what I can in the actual making session, and it's less about trying to everything is relative. So how something sounds relative to how loud something is contingent upon how loud other things are. So I just try to make my loudest things loud and my softer things soft. And that seems obvious, but when I really figured out that in order to make sounds louder, you just make other sounds softer, it was such a game changer. Uh, yeah. I run into muddiness super often because I'm a piano player and I like putting too many notes in my chords. Um, so I think most of my songs are unnecessarily muddy, and it took a lot of like effort to work on that. Again, Overthinker was the first time that I really figured out how to use EQs and multiband compressors in order to really restrain that 200 to 600 range. You mix loud, but it's not killing your ears. I'm pretty sure my hearing has dropped off a little bit. Um, I try not to mix too loud in the headphones. And for a while, I had some decent speakers, which was cool. But I'm sure my hearing has deteriorated a little bit. So, like, mix loud in reference to how the mix is going to sound, but it's actually better to mix like soft in your earphones or in your speakers. Because if you're blasting stuff, everything's going to sound good when you're cranking it. But if you turn it down, you can get a really good gauge for how it's knocking. Uh, is learning an instrument that I am not that cool, but I appreciate the compliment. Um, Learning an instrument is fine, but there are plenty of people who are much better producers than me who do not have that much experience playing an instrument. I would just trust your ears and experiment a lot. And also just listen to music that inspires you and that does interesting things, and you'll pick stuff up. Do I ever use a limiter? Um, I mean, technically a saturator is a limiter, but nah. I have it here just so I can like truthfully, it's not even necessary here. I could just turn this limiter off and put on soft clip, and I'd be fine. Um, Sometimes just because I don't want to be peaking at all, or just to be like sure, I'll just slap on a limiter and put it at like point negative point 3 dB just to be safe. Hey, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Do I mix in mono or is it okay to mix in stereo? Um, I don't really check back to mix in mono a lot, and that may be a fault of mine. Um, but generally speaking, if you want to get your mix super tight, you should every once in a while just put it in mono. Another very important thing is that whenever you're playing live, like the lower parts of your frequency range are gonna be in mono, so it's super important whether or not you mix in stereo or mono to make sure that like your lower frequencies are in mono. uh, I just recently started measuring LUFS. Whenever I am mixing to a reference track, I will pull up a metering plugin. Where are you at? And I'll just look at peak, RMS, LUFS, and dynamic range. Sometimes I even pull up true peak just because I'm interested. Yeah. Did someone say they wanted me to do two phones real quick? I don't have a problem doing that. It's a super simple. I can't say the. Oh well, it's fine. Making Black Radio 2 is super fun. Um, I think I spent so much time in like EDM world and EDM adjacent world that it was nice to get back to just making like rap beats. And that's where I started. I don't know if people know that, but like the first Braden Bailey project for me trying to sound like Flying Lotus and Jay Dilla in DiBiase and all that good stuff. So there you go. Next time we do this, um, I'm gonna have a little portion of the stream dedicated to me doing some piano stuff. Um, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna. Blech. I'm gonna try and find a VST that will help me show the notes on screen. I really want to go over the chords to "Boredom" by Tyler. But if they're just songs that y'all are interested in knowing, um, let me know and we can go over some stuff. How do I avoid copyright conflicts with using acapellas? I hope that I do not get caught. SoundCloud was the wild, wild west for a long time, so you could just do it and people wouldn't really pursue any kind of action except for takedowns. Um, as far as Bandcamp goes, I don't really, for the most part, I don't really sell anything that uses acapellas. I just put it up for free download, and if someone wants to donate money, they can, which is cool. I haven't had too much problem. I'm not famous. No one really knows about me, so I can kind of get it off to a lot of people, and not really deal with any issue. If I was way bigger, I wouldn't do that. But for now, it's fine. And just morally, I labels are horrible for artists, and I don't feel a ways about making a tiny little bit of money off of remix content because I know the artist isn't really making money like that, and the labels are exploiting them. So, you know, I don't feel bad if I make like $100 or $200 off of something sampled or using an acapella. If it is a smaller independent artist, I will absolutely try and work something out. But for like big artists, it's whatever. Publishers versus, you mean like publishing or like collectives? Because publishing is a whole other thing that I really hate about the music industry. Um, that's nasty. That's a whole other conversation. Oh, management. Hey, man. Uh, all I can say about that is, well, as far as management goes, you should surround yourself with people who believe in what you're doing. And you shouldn't worry about trying to be affiliated with a management company or some label like, selection or whatever. Like just surround yourself with people who care about your vision. And it's if you aren't getting step two as far as management goes or agents, don't worry about it. Just continue to work on whatever you're doing. Believe in your craft, believe in your vision, and once you start to make things that are really the best version of you, I think that's when people come to you. Because you have to consider managers, booking agents, all of this is a business, and people are interested in investing in acts that have demonstrated their market value. So if you haven't demonstrated your market value, it's kind of hard to attract management, etc. And more importantly, you don't want to enter a situation where you don't have leverage. That's super important. There are so many people who haven't really built the fan base, and then try and get with a label or some small imprint or management, and then they take a lot of what you make because they're doing so much groundwork because you haven't built up the fan base yet. or they just don't kind of care about you. I have so many stories of people who got with management and then that the management did not care about them that much, and so they got shelved or dropped, and that's a bad feeling. So just focus on making the best things that you can make and cultivating your fan base independently. And then when someone decides to affiliate themselves with you, you have some worth and value already attached to the business of you, and that gives you leverage. And that's super important because you don't want someone to come through and try and take a large percentage of the rights to your music if that's not what you want to do. You know, leverage always gives you, I'm sorry, quality of music always gives you leverage. Uh, Initial methods for finding an audience, I just put the music out and I made whatever it was I wanted to make. I got super lucky to grow up in like the prime SoundCloud years where there was just kind of an audience who was willing to listen to whatever. Um, but I found where the audience was and I started making stuff. And a super important thing is that you need to be making stuff regularly. Even if it's not music, make content for people, talk to people, tweet at people. Um, Everything gets so much easier as far as attracting an audience when you are consistent with just making content for people to consume and enjoy so that they can know what your music is and so that they can know you. Um, how often would you say? Because like I'm super bad with this. Like I should really tweet every day. I should try to make video content at least twice a week. Um, it also depends. Some people have a real cult of personality, and like Sam Gellatree can post whenever he wants to, and he's fine. You also need to consider that some people are backed by a team, and when there are other people who are invested in making sure that you do well, it's kind of harder for you to fail. So Graves can like post a beat for the first time in a year, but that's Graves. He has selection ties. He's managed by How, What, and Where. Um, like he has some kind of pool that maybe a truly independent person does not have. So if you don't have an infrastructure like some of these other people do, it's really important to just try and engage people regularly. And that's the answer to what if you don't have people around you because you're a recluse. Really make sure that you're trying your best to stay engaged with people. And also, even if you're kind of a person who stays to yourself, the right people will come around eventually. You just have to make the right stuff and make what you believe in most. Um, we can talk about this more later. 'Cause I think it's an important conversation. Let's do this real quick though, because I've been on here for like 2 hours, and I'm sure that niggas is bored. Uh, uh, where is? Uh, 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 I need to use Streamlabs again because I can see more. Okay, two phones, two phones, two phones, two phones. Bop, bop, bop. Here's the drums. Oh, oh. Okay, so in order to make these drums, there's an order of operations. Start with the snare, and the snare is always quantized for me. It's always on that 2 and 4. And then I add the kick. And then most of the kick hits are also, I think all of the kicks are quantized. So where the looseness comes in and where the kind of organic feeling comes in is in all of the percussion, in like the random percussive sounds that come through. So like none of these pickups are quantized. It's just wherever it fits. So and then you add the hats to it. Uh, 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 uh. Now it's starting to feel looser. So yeah, generally my kicks and snares, the main ones are quantized, and then all of my pickups for my kicks and snares are unquantized, and then my hats are unquantized. And then we add a shaker. Which is also unquantized. So whenever you're trying to make like I don't know, like boom bap stuff, it's about having a underlying structure, and then on top of that structure, trying to add looseness. That's what I do at least. The snare roll too. I used to mess with groove pools. For me, it's just easier to do it by hand at this point. Boom. Okay. We add a bass. If y'all are familiar with Mini Monster, I really love it. It's a really cool Moog emulator. And I chose the preset called West Coast Bass. There you go. Yeah. And let's get into these. Boom, boom. I have so many guitar samples, like folders and folders and folders of them. Some of them are from Splice. Some of them are from other kits online. I have folders and folders of just guitarists that I commissioned to just sit down and play chords. I'll spend a long time just searching for the right chords. There you go. What was I thinking here? Okay, here it is dry. So we got a glue compressor. just to even it out dynamically. Multi-band. I was talking earlier about mud. I use multi-band a lot to just that 200 to 600 range, just scoop it out. EQing. Took out some 600, took out some 3K, added a little bit of flanger, added some chorus. Yeah, remember when I said I didn't EQ or process much? I lied. I do it a lot. This is actually like too much. I don't know why I did this. Delay, reverb. Notice everything above like 100, 150 is gone. I don't know if it's even there to begin with. Let's see. It's very faint, but you can hear it. Is getting rid of any unnecessary lows. Flutes. Just some delay. I turned it down a little bit. That's pretty much it. I think the original sample was a little bit flat. Oh no, it's fine. It was fine. Okay. And a little bit more guitar. I could have cleaned that up. I like the grit of it, so we just keep it. And then the effects. Just vinyl. Add in some nice some chimes. And then I found this online somewhere. I like that a lot. And man, there you go. That's pretty much the loop. Oh yeah, there's that. There's that. And then for the second part of it, some more stuff gets added. So we have a piano. And then notice, I've spoken about this earlier, but a part of alleviating some mixing concerns is just not playing what's not needed. So a lot of these chords are rootless, meaning I'm not playing the bass in my left hand, and that's because I already have a bass playing. So instead of having to go back retroactively and like EQ the bass note out, just don't play it. And then I EQ it out below for good measure. Yeah. Some guitar. really nice and mellow, airy. This one sound that I use all the time because I love it. Oh, oh, oh. Um, this is Analog Lab, but what is it specifically? That sounds like a mini. Let's check. Oh, don't freeze, please don't freeze. Uh, 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 uh. Where'd you go? How do you make sure your music sounds relatively bright? Well, that goes back to the gain staging conversation where everything is only relative to everything else. So managing my mids actually helps me to make my to make my songs sound more bright. Um, like I don't do any mid high excitement, you know. I just make sure it, what it is for me is I love the R&B EQ curve where the lows are very prominent, the mids dip in, and then it starts to come back up in that 1K to 3K, and then it comes back up. I think that's called like the smile EQ or something, which is the template that a lot of modern music uses. Um, oh yeah, what was this? What is this? What is this? What is this? This is, yep, it's just an emulation of an Arturia Mini. There you go. Yeah, it might be Disco Smile. I don't know. It's called a smile because yeah, yeah. That's how the EQ is shaped, like a smile. Um, you got the Tm88 Siren. Oh, what's this? That's okay. So I found this off of Splice, but I also know exactly what sound that is. It's in Omnisphere. Oh boy. Signs. Yeah, it's called Drops of Signs. Hey, bud, go and close it. Granted, this one is probably processed more. You can hear that some of the crunchiness of the highs are gone, but there it is. What is polybreed? That sounds cool. Do you study or analyze other people's tracks? Reference tracks, yes. I didn't used to do it. I do it a lot more now. Guitar sound. I use all over Black Radio too. And then the only other thing that is worth mentioning is this little break. Which is just me playing piano over some drums, and I have the RC20 going, which is super cliched as a producer, but there you go. If y'all weren't aware, Illmind put out some RC20 presets on Splice that are really useful for tweaking. I would look at those. They're pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna probably stop. Is RC20 worth getting? It's cool. RC20 is cool. Cassette by Waves Factory is cool. There's a thing called J37 by Waves that's really good. But if you're just trying to get started with that kind of stuff, RC20 is a really good starting place. Here's the whole track real quick. Oh. What's going on? There we go.
I got 2 phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got 2 phones, one for the then one for the dough. Think I need 2 more. Line popping, I'm ring, ring, ringing. Count money while it ring, ring, ringing. Rap jumping, I'm ring, ring, ringing. I got 2 phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got 2 phones, one for the then one for the dough. Think I need 2 more. Line popping, I'm ring, ring, ringing. Count money while it ring, ring, ringing. Oh my God, I'm gorgeous. I just put the key inside my pocket, might not get to see it. It's a new Ferrari, man. In the mirror, how you choose to bother? Someone said it calling, I don't feel like talking. Everything will get returned the way I bought it. Phone be interrupting me while I'm recording. Phone be making women feel they unimportant. Call my dog, he say it's all the way. Keep the on, cause I'm not using the form. In kitchen, I just finished up a new perform. Hater, wish you well. I got clientele. I just got it off the scale. I got 2 phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got 2 phones, one for the then one for the dough. Think I need 2 more. Line popping, I'm ring, ring, ringing. Count money while it ring, ring, ringing. Rap jumping, I'm ring, ring, ringing. I got 2 phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got 2 phones, one for the then one for the dough. Think I need 2 more. Line popping, I'm ring, ring, ringing. Count money while it ring, ring, ringing. Rap jumping, I'm ring, ring, ringing. There they go again, one of my little friends. They don't give a damn how a nigga been. All they wanna know is what I got to give. How much did I spend, what I got to lend, what I did and what I didn't do for them. Bricks coming in somewhere on the rim section, doing numbers nowhere by a gym. Rapping by the spin, I'm supplying 10, jumping out of Honda. I just got it in, asking what I cop, none of your concern. One day you gon' learn what you trying to get. Everything gon' sell, going out of bed. Finders up in jail, gotta feed the kids. You can run the city, you know what it is. Bread when the business, put that on the real. One for the plug and one for the load. I got 2 phones, one for the then one for the dough. Think I need 2 more. Line popping, I'm ring, ring, ringing.
There you go, man. I want to thank y'all for no my the okay. So the master doesn't have anything. The actual mix of the instrumental is a lot because I didn't feel like actually mixing the song. So you have some EQ dips, like slight mid management, and then okay, real quick. I've said this before. In order to get your stuff louder, instead of relying on one compressor, um, use two or three compressors doing a little bit of work in order to get your sound a little bit more squashed, but still feeling relatively natural and not like, because you don't want like a super hot mix where frequencies are jumping out at you in a way that's not good. So little bits of compression over time. Yeah. I did it on the returns because I was using a reference. So I have my mix in one and then the reference in the other. That's all. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I hope y'all have a great week. Um, Follow me on Twitter if you're not already, because I'm just gonna randomly cook up on Twitch during the week, and I'll tweet whenever I'm on. Um, yeah, man. Thank y'all very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see you next week. Um, Drop off any suggestions about what you want me to cover, and I will make a mental note of it for next Sunday. Yeah, man. All right. Peace. Oh, how do I? There we go. Stop.